Well, there's a few overarching themes that have driven higher crop prices and fertilizer prices since about the middle of 2020. The first is production issues globally. This applies to major crop growing areas, as well as plant production outages and mine closures that have impacted fertilizer markets. The next overarching theme is Chinese demand, and we've seen structural shortfalls in Chinese production of key crops, and that's contributed to a change in Chinese domestic policy when it comes to fertilizer, and it's contributed to higher domestic fertilizer demand in China and export restrictions on Chinese urea and phosphate exports. The final overarching theme is supply chain issues. We've all heard a lot about supply chain issues when it comes to general goods in the economy, and this has impacted both agriculture and fertilizer markets as well, with port congestion, transportation delays, in addition to higher transport costs that increases the cost to export and import commodities. The next issue that's impacted potash in particular is sanctions and restrictions on exports of potash from Belarus through Lithuania. Belarus is an important exporter of potash, and this has contributed to tightness in that market, which was compounded by the Russian invasion of Ukraine and subsequent sanctions on Russian potash exports. Together, the two countries account for about 40% of potash exports. Russia's the largest exporter of nitrogen fertilizers. Combined, Russia and Ukraine export about 30% of the world's wheat, and Ukraine's an important exporter of corn, accounting for about 15% of global trade, in addition to other crops such as barley, canola, sunflowers, and sunflower oil. The final driver of strong fertilizer markets has been an improvement in energy prices and increased prices of crude oil, natural gas, and coal. In particular, natural gas price increases in Europe have contributed to skyrocketing costs for nitrogen productions and plant closures. At current natural gas prices in Europe of around $30 per MMBTU, cost of production of ammonia is around $1,200 per ton. Nutrien's responding to the current market conditions across all of our business units. The potash team added 1 million tons of production in 2021 and is planning to add another 1 million tons of production in 2022. Combined, the additional production in these 2 years accounts for over 70% of the global production added in that time period. In nitrogen, the team added about 1 million tons of new production between 2018 and 2021. And is planning to add an additional approximately 500,000 tons by 2024 to 2025. And in retail, the retail team has dealt with the tightness in global commodity markets and crop input markets by strategically sourcing inventories of key fertilizers and other inputs in advance, and in some cases sourcing alternative products when supplies were tight and prices were increasing. Across all of our business units, we're looking strategically at the scenarios that could unfold in the years to come and identifying actions that we can take to address those situations. We believe there's a wide range of scenarios that could unfold in market conditions in the years to come, and regardless of which scenario unfolds, we believe that the commodities impacted by the war in Ukraine will have a tighter supply-demand balance than they would have otherwise. Commodity markets are always volatile, and given the dynamic geopolitical environment, we expect that volatility to be even higher than it would be under normal market conditions.